Okay, hello guys. This is the measuring and drawing part. You're gonna see step by step. I try to go as slow as possible, and we're gonna give you a PowerPoint step by step as well later on. So let's clean her skin first. So this is Sylvia, and she is 23 years old. Her skin is absolutely perfect, and no sun damage, no skin problems. It's the perfect tight young skin that we want. She has very little eyebrows and very light as well, so this is what we want. Now the pencil that I use is a Sharpie pencil. I like it because now I can work with any pencils really, but for you, when you're learning and when you need to draw it, when you need to have your drawing on and not smudge it, this is one of the best pencils that you can get, because it's harder to draw it on and harder to get it sharp like that, but once you have it's harder to come off. So I can very highly recommend that. I use an orange wood stick or any measurement, any straight. You can use a thread as well if you want. I prefer this because this is how I learned it, but you can try different tools, different ways as well. Okay, so the first is the very first rule when you're measuring somebody's eyebrows is the very first absolute rule that we have to cut her face in half. We have to get the middle of the face, and the way to get that is in this hollow here in the nose. If you put your hand there, you can even feel it. I think that's the best way to put, and you have to eyeball here. There's no other way. So I'm just gonna put a little point there, and then use this orange wood stick to put that on the middle of the face, or middle of the nose, sorry, and then that point, and make a straight line. And let's see if it is in the middle. It is perfect. Okay, come back. Now, and look at me now, Sylvia. So we need their eyes open for this, because I need to be able to see where the eye begins. Where the eyebrow should begin, again, also is the bridge of the nose. So this part of the nose here, and not this. I'm gonna show it again. So it's not, this is the tip of the nose here. So not this, but the inside here is the bridge. And if you make a straight line from here to the start of the eye is where the eyebrow should begin. Now, usually people have some kind of a hairs already, so that will give you an indication. We will try to keep their own natural shape, of course, and not to alter it too much. So if they have a good shape, and say Sylvia now, her eyebrow hair is starting exactly where it should be, as you can see, it's a perfect start and it's perfect thickness as well. So we're gonna keep that as well. So let's make a straight point. Look at me, Sylvia, there, please. I like to draw long lines because when I be drawing the brows itself, some of these lines will come off. So the longer you have, the more you have to go and redraw it again. Okay, the next line then, so we have two lines. I always do one side first, measure it one side, and then you get your measuring tool, and we're going to mirror it to the other side. So the third line is the end of the brows. The end of the brows, then you're gonna use the bridge of the nose, sorry, the tip of the nose, not the bridge. So this was the bridge, and this is the tip of the nose, and the end of the eye. So please look up, Sylvia, and if you make a straight line from the tip to the very end of the eye, that's where the eyebrows should end, okay? Now, a lot of people would ask me, can I make them longer? And I think you should say no, you can't make them longer, It's a very old-fashioned way to have them longer, and the longer the brows are here, the lower the tail will be, and it will make them sad looking. And what we want is, we want to achieve a bright lift. We want to lift the tails up so that they will look, it will open up their eyes and they will look younger. And to achieve that is that if the tail is not too long. So make sure when somebody asks you that they want them longer, well, I say no. I just say this stage, no, sorry, I don't agree with that, and I don't want to do it, because I did it in the beginning. I actually did it. I said yes, of course I can make it longer. I did it, and I was sorry because I ruined my work. It was much better before. So I don't listen to the clients anymore. Okay, so the fourth line, then we have to decide where the arch will be. Okay, so usually you see now this is the full length of the brows. So if you cut this up to 2/3 and 1/3, that's where the arch should be. Usually, again, people have some kind of a hairs here at the arch, so that you go by the highest baby hairs that they have. If they have nothing, then as I said, you cut this part off to 3 pieces, and this is the bigger piece here in the front, and then the smaller piece on the end. Also, if you look up, Sylvia, please, you can, if you make a straight line from the tip of the nose and the end of the pupil, the outside of the pupil will give you also an indication. So there you go, you can see it there and close, and that's where our arch will be. Let's see, so you can see it here. It is cut up perfectly to a bigger, longer piece and a smaller piece. Okay, so now we're going to get our measuring tool, which is, I use these mini calipers, as you can see here. I love these little calipers because they're just so handy. I don't like the bigger ones because they're just too long and too big. So I love these little ones. So whatever measuring tool you have, you can use a sticker, you can use a whatever you want for this measuring tool. But make sure that you measure it very precise, okay? That both eyebrows are the same. So then we're going to mirror all of this to the other side. So I use the inside of these little hooks, so there you can see a little sharp point, and that's what I'm using because that's the most accurate. Okay, you can see it here as well. And then go back to my orange wood stick, and again then we're going to measure her face as well. So please open up, Sylvia, and look up. Okay, so there you go. So now we have the vertical lines, the 7 vertical lines on the forehead. So now comes the horizontal lines, which will give you the 5 points. I usually do 3 points, but in the PowerPoint that I'm going to give you, that you can see, it's gonna be 5 points because it's easier on paper, especially to learn the technique. And then if you need it on the skin as well, you can do the 5 points. I'm only going to do 3 here. Okay, so the very first point is going to give us where the eyebrow, how low the eyebrow bulb should be. Now, I like the bulbs as low as possible because the lower the bulb is, the higher the arch can go. If you start up, and this is one of the main problems for most people, if you start the bulb, the front of the brows, higher, then you cannot go any higher really, because you would go up on the forehead with the arches, and that's obviously it's not a great look. So try to go lower on the bulb, fill out that bulb nicely. Again, people will have some kind of hairs already, and I usually go with their lowest of the baby hairs. Here you can see the little baby hairs, so we're gonna keep all that and maybe add just maybe a little tiny little fraction. Okay, now this part here you can use a thread. A lot of people love using a thread, and it is maybe easier, especially if you're starting off. I'm just gonna use this because I can, it's easy for me, but you can well use the thread this stage here. It is easier, especially this part here. If you decide to use a stick like this, just make sure that you tilt it vertically, oh sorry, horizontally perfectly, yeah? So then, so you see the first point, the second point, then how thick the brow is going to be. I like a medium brow usually for most people, unless they have very thick brows. Medium brows are just classic. It suits most people. It suits older ladies, younger girls. It's very classical. It will fade lovely. It's just easy. Obviously try not to do thin brows because it's very aging. It used to be in the 80s and 90s. We don't do that anymore. And obviously, as I said, I don't like very big brows either, because it might not suit everybody, and it's very hard to achieve the perfect symmetry, unless they have it already very thick, yeah? So the second, as I said, the second point there, you can see the how thick the brows are going to be. So this is a medium brow. The medium brow is about 1 centimeter if you're in centimeters, or about a half inch if you in inches. And then the third point is going to be how high the arch is going to be. Again, they usually have some baby hairs, as I said, up in the arch, and we go with their highest baby hairs, or depending on their age. So Sylvia here is very young, so she has the bone structure as well to carry a higher arch. Now again, I don't like very high arches because it's very hard to create that symmetry if you go very high arch. The arches are the main problems for most people, I think. So again, just a medium arch, not too high, not too low. You can't go wrong with that usually, you know. So you can see, so if this is 1 centimeter here, then usually from here to the next, the top one, the third little point is going to be about 1 centimeter as well, or half a centimeter, something like that, okay? But usually keep it there. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, she has some baby hairs here, although there's a big chunk missing here, but she has a little bit of baby hairs, and we're gonna go with that. One, and then very carefully tilt it on the other side. Now, so we have these 3 points. Now in the PowerPoint you're gonna see 5 points. So this is 1, 2, 3, and then the tail. Now the tail point, I'm not going to do it here because we don't need it, but on the paper, and this is an absolute rule for everybody all around the world, that the tail point should never ever be lower than the bulb point, okay? Ever, no matter what. If they have their hairs grown in the tail very low and it's lower than the bulb, you have to ask their permission to take these hairs out and try to lift that. It can be on the same level as this. If you make a straight line here, it can be on the same level, but really ideally we want it a little bit higher, okay? So you can make a point if you wish. So I'm just gonna show it to you here. So if this is a straight point, so it cannot be lower than that, yeah? Can be on the same line, so we're just gonna make a little point. And then the 5th point, just very quickly here, is going to be the lower arch, which is here. And this, so if this is 1 centimeter, then this should be a tiny bit smaller, only a tiny bit. Could be 1 centimeter as well, or maybe 8, 9 millimeters, but no more than 8. Because if it's smaller, you're going to have a sperm brow, which is a big head and a skinny body. And we don't want that because it's very aging, very old-fashioned again. So we have these points, so I'm going to start drawing now, so I hope you can see it. Now stretching at this point. So as you can see, I love this bed because she's sitting up and she's comfortable and she can put her head back and no problem. When you have a massage bed, it's very hard to draw. It's much harder because they have to hold their neck, their body, their head, and then I'm pushing against it as well. So it is definitely harder. I like it this way. So when you start drawing, make sure that you stretch that skin as much as possible, especially for older ladies. If the skin is not stretched, you won't be able to draw properly. Make sure that your pencil is 90 degrees on the skin and you draw it as thin line as possible, okay? Don't go over and over the line so much, because then you're gonna make your line, the drawing line, so thick that it's not going to give you the correct shape. So make sure that you just go very lightly first, and then you can take it off and redraw it again, rather than go over and over and over so many times. So there you go. So this is the stretch. So make sure you stretch that skin nice and tight. I hope you can see it. Yes, you can. So one thing that I want you to always remember is straight lines. Straight. I always do the bottom line here first and then the top. Okay, that's the bottom line, and then the top line. The second word I want you to do, so the first word was straight, the second word is parallel. Very important. So if you have your bottom line here, make sure that you go parallel to this on the top, so that you don't create again sperm brows or just not straight. They have to be straight, especially the first half, okay? So here you go. Now, as you can see, I stop a little bit before the arch here, so that I can reposition myself and decide what arch do I want to create. How old is she? What does she want? Does she want a pointy arch? Does she want a flatter arch, a roundier arch? If she's a younger girl, she might be able to carry as a sharper, pointier arch. Again, I don't really like that look very much, because very few people can carry it, and it's very hard for you to create two symmetrical arches if it's very pointy. Very, very hard. Only if you're very skilled, you can do it, no problem. But I would rather, if you're a beginner or you know, not so experienced, I would rather go for a roundier, flatter arch. Okay? And she doesn't have a lot of hair, so we can create whatever we want in here, really. Now I think that this line became a little bit too roundy here, so we're going to actually make that a little bit straighter later on. So there you go, that's one brow drawn on. So let's do the other one. Again, I'm doing the bottom first, nice and straight. Don't be afraid, because I think people are afraid of drawing straight lines and thick, that they're gonna be too thick. Now my drawing is super thick because don't forget what I said in the consultation part, that I said that this is only a frame, so we're not going to touch these lines, we're just going to go in between. So these drawings, they need to be big. And I did warn her as well, so that when I show her, she knows that this is not the full thickness that we're gonna go for. Now I have a feeling that this one is much higher, but we'll see in the end. I usually, so I just draw it off, and then we'll sit her up and we'll decide then. So here's the other brow, as you can see. So you see the drawing, the line itself, it's nice and thin, not too thick. Don't go over and over. If you think that, oh, I messed it up, take it off. Get a wet cotton bud or a wet baby wipe. That's what I do. I'm gonna show you. I use my nail wrap a baby wipe around one of my nail, and I take it off, and then I wipe it with a dry tissue as well. So make sure that you can only draw on dry skin. Okay, so now let's sit her up and decide what we want to do. Okay, so this one here, as you can see, it is higher than here, because naturally this was higher, this brow, the whole brow was higher, and I can see it is a little bit higher, just a tiny bit here, so we're gonna take it off. Let's close your eyes, Sylvia, please, and relax your face as much as you can, because the muscles, especially when they're young, the muscles can play a very, very big part. I actually love people with Botox, because when they have Botox in the forehead, the brows are usually more symmetrical. When they're very young and they don't have Botox yet, the muscles sometimes are very strong, and it is very hard to decide what you want to do. Okay, dokie, so you can see it here. Okay, let's decide. Okay, so I feel that this arch here is a little bit higher, so we're gonna make that lower. Otherwise, I like the shape. We keep in her natural shape, as you can see, with all her hairs. She has very little here on the arches and on the tips, so we're going to fill them out. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you something. So if she puts her head down like this, you can see the line here compared to the line here, and I felt that, I said that as well, that this I felt was a little bit roundier, so we're gonna make this a little bit straighter like that, because I prefer this line here. It's just a little bit thicker here, and I don't really like that. I love this, I prefer this, but this arch here needs to come down a little bit. I'm just gonna make little mental notes. What do I want to change in this? It's pretty good, I like it very much. I think it's just only this and this in the arch, and that's it then. So let's come back, and we're going to fix these. Now sometimes I get a person up 20 times. Sit them up, come back. Sit them up, come back. As many times as I think I need it to be perfect. So I don't care about their comfort in a way that it has to be perfect. This part has to be perfect, ladies. You have to get better at the drawing part. And I would suggest, so if you're not good at drawing, you don't have a choice, you have to get better, okay? Practice, practice, practice. Practice on your kids, on your daughter, on your son. Practice on your husbands. That's what I did. I kept drawing on my husband Peter's face for 2 years. Practice on paper, practice on a banana, practice on everywhere. See eyebrows. See eyebrows everywhere. Wherever you go, just watch people. People's eyebrows and learn from it, and just keep drawing and drawing and drawing, and then your hand will get better and better. But you don't have a choice, you have to get better at drawing. This is not something that I try to teach, and you can learn, you can take classes and little tips from other people, but you just have to get better at this, okay? You don't have a choice. Okay, I feel that this is still a little bit thick here, and also a little bit. No. So you see this? So this line is nearly gone now. So this is what I said, to make long drawings here, so that if it wipes off, I can just redraw it. Look, there you go. So, and then come back here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, sit up again. Sylvia, please. Let's see. Okay, I still feel that this one is higher here, but only maybe because, close your eyes and relax, chill. Yes, it's the muscle. So I'm going to show it to you in the camera. So when she has it, when her eyes are closed and she's relaxed, you can see they are in the same level. And then open up there, Sylvia, please. You can see this is the dominant side here, so she pulls up this side. But we're not going to play with that, because when she closes, close your eyes and relax. So when she closes her eyes and relaxes, it is the same. Let's see. It is the same. I'm just going to take maybe a tiny bit off here, just so. But it is the same. You can again see it here in the camera. And open. Yes, definitely. It's a much stronger side here, and she pulls it up. But we're not going to change this, because what if she gets Botox next week? You know? So we're not going to mess with it. This is only the muscle. You know? So, and that's fine. We're just going to do it. It's not a huge difference anyway. Yes, it's very good. Okay, but I'm very happy. Now, Sylvia, please pull it up as much as you can. Up, and keep it as high as possible. So this way, when they do this, and I'll show you in the camera again, when they do this, you can see the first half of the brows, and you can see the top line and the bottom line, if they are in the same level. You can really see it. If there's anything different, then you can see then you can really see it. Okay, this will show you up, and yeah, I think so. So you can see the first, the start of the brows are perfect, the top line is perfect, and the bottom line is perfect. And chill, relax. I feel that this bit here is a little bit thinner than this bit here. So close your eyes again. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go with this line here. I'm just gonna go a tiny bit higher, and I mean a fraction higher, just here, because I feel that this one is a little bit higher. And pull up again. Yeah, so in here you can see that this one goes up there, and then this one is a little bit thicker here. So we're just gonna go with that. And then now give me angry, really angry, pull it together. So when they do that, then you can see the tail, the two tails here, you can see it in one line, in one vision. So you can see if the two tails are angling in the same way, and are they finishing in the same angle. Okay, so come back here, so you can see the 2 points. Yeah, perfect. But you can see here is still a tiny bit thicker than here. Yeah, so we're just gonna come here a tiny bit more down here, and a little bit higher here, and that's it. And chill, relax. And now put your head down and look at my hand. So when they're doing this into the camera, when they're doing this, you can see the top line fully. So then you can again see if one is higher, one is not, the arch is higher, or the tails are higher. And come here, and no, they are perfect. It's just a little bit here and here. Okay, come back. A little bit here and a little bit here. Just remember the points that you want to then change. And yes, okay, so there you go. I'm very happy with that. You can see, I hope you're happy with that as well. I think that's a very classy shape. It's not very dramatic. It's not very, it's not too much. It's not too pointy. It's not too high. It's a very classical shape that will fade beautiful for her as well. Always follow their own natural shape, of course. Try to change very little in their own natural shape. The only thing usually I change is take hairs out from here and lift this tail up here usually. I don't do anything very much usually up here. Yeah? So I hope you like it, and I hope that will help you. Okay, so the next part is going to be the hair strokes. We're going to go into the step by step, first pass, second pass, and third pass. Okay, hope you like this. Bye!